Look at your hand. Clench your fingers into a fist, and then slowly release them. This simple action triggers a cascade of biochemical reactions, the complexity of which exceeds the capabilities of the most powerful supercomputers on the planet. An impulse originates in the cerebral cortex, rushes through nerve fibers at a speed of about 100 meters per second, and forces the muscles to contract. This is mechanics. This is physics. But ask yourself one fundamental question. Who exactly gave the order to clench that fist? Who is that silent observer sitting inside your skull, controlling this biological spacesuit? For decades, science has convinced us that the answer has been found. We were told that our self is merely an illusion, a byproduct of electrochemical reactions between 86 billion neurons. We were taught that we are simply complex, but ultimately soulless computing machines. But predictive analytics algorithms do not believe in convenient dogmas. They operate on cold, hard data. Imagine the body of a person who died exactly 1 second ago. From a chemical standpoint, this body is absolutely identical to the one that was alive a moment ago. Every single atom is in place. The DNA structure is not destroyed. The organs are intact. The blood is still in the veins. The difference between a living human and a corpse at the atomic level is absolute zero. Yet, something is gone. The difference is colossal. The computing cluster analyzed trillions of states of matter and delivered a cold, technical answer. The control signal is missing. The hardware is there, but the operating system is not. If consciousness is just a product of the brain's work, as official neurobiology claims, we face an unsolvable paradox. We have artificial neural networks that can recognize faces, write music, and hold conversations. When a digital camera sees the color red, it simply registers a light wavelength of approximately 650 nanometers. For a computer, this is just a mathematical value. But when you see the color red, you experience an inexpressible internal sensation. You feel brightness, passion, or anxiety. Inside artificial intelligence, there is only data processing, input and output. There is absolute darkness. But inside the human brain, a light is burning. You do not just process data, you feel it. Not a single known law of physics or chemistry can explain why matter, having reached a certain level of complexity, should suddenly ignite with the internal light of self-awareness. You can describe every electrical impulse in the head, but the existence of subjective experience will never follow from this description. This is the blind spot of science. Let us conduct a ruthless thought experiment. Imagine a creature that is your exact replica at the molecular level. It has the exact same brain. It laughs at jokes, cries, and holds meaningful conversations. Any medical scanner will show that this creature is indistinguishable from you. But inside, it is completely empty. It has no subjective experiences whatsoever. It is a perfect automaton, a biorobot, simulating human behavior. From the perspective of physiology and chemistry, a conscious human and this philosophical zombie are absolutely identical. If materialistic theory is incapable of distinguishing a conscious being from an unconscious automaton, then it simply does not describe reality. It studies only a complex machine, but is completely blind to the one driving that machine. We loaded all the initial data of our universe into the computing cluster and forced the algorithm to calculate the mathematical probability of consciousness randomly originating from blind mutations of matter. The simulation included quadrillions of iterations. The result was devastating. The probability of the spontaneous emergence of subjective self-awareness from purely physical processes is so minuscule that it is indistinguishable from mathematical zero. This event is less likely than if you threw a handful of atoms onto a table and they assembled themselves, But if the brain does not generate consciousness, then what function does it actually perform? It is a transceiver. If we lose control over the biological machine, where does the pilot disappear to? To answer this question, we need measurable physical quantities, not philosophical theories. Even information has weight, and if the soul is a complex informational structure, it must have a physical equivalent. In the early 20th century, researcher Duncan McDougall conducted a series of experiments that science tried to mock and permanently relegate to the archives of pseudoscience. He weighed tuberculosis patients at the exact moment of their death on ultra-precise industrial scales. The choice of illness was cynical, but pragmatic. Such patients die in complete exhaustion, without convulsions that could throw off the mechanism's calibration. At the moment of the first patient's death, at the exact second the heart stopped, the scale's needle sharply dropped. The body instantly became lighter by exactly 21 grams. Official science immediately delivered its verdict. This is simply the evaporation of sweat and the release of residual air from the lungs. Case closed. But we loaded McDougall's diaries and the technical specifications of his scales into the computing system to run a modern thermodynamic simulation. The artificial intelligence played devil's advocate. Skeptics talk about sweat. Yes, the body loses moisture. But to lose 21 grams of liquid in those 3 seconds, while the scale's needle was falling, the patient's body would have had to instantly heat up to the boiling point. The physics of the evaporation process is linear. It fundamentally cannot produce an instantaneous gravitational spike without an external source of colossal energy. The probability that natural evaporation caused such an effect is 0. Skeptics talk about air. A liter of air weighs about 1.2 grams. Even assuming a physiologically impossible scenario in which the patient exhaled absolutely all air down to the last molecule, the weight loss would have been a maximum of 7 or 8 grams. Where are the other 14? Gas dynamics calculations show that to lose 21 grams, the patient would have had to have lungs with a volume of 20 liters, compressed under enormous pressure. This is an anatomical absurdity. The system places a hard lie marker on the official explanations. But here, we encounter the main physical problem, a problem that could have destroyed our entire theory if we had not found an explanation for it. Einstein's famous formula, E equals EImc squared. Energy equals mass multiplied by the speed of light squared. If 21 grams of matter turned into pure energy at the moment of death, a colossal volume of heat should be released. 21 grams of matter is the explosive power equivalent to almost 500,000 tons of TNT. This is 20 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. If the soul were simply a piece of matter, every dying person would turn into a mushroom cloud, wiping the city off the face of the earth. Obviously, this does not happen. We ask the system a question. What can have mass, but upon disappearing, not release thermal energy? The algorithm's answer came from the field of quantum gravity. Gravitational shadow. Imagine that your consciousness is an object located in a higher dimension. But this object is tethered to your biological body. As long as you are alive, this connection creates tension in the fabric of space-time. We perceive this tension as weight. But what if part of your weight is not the mass of the body's atoms, but the mass of that very tether? The mass of the anchor that holds the quantum data packet inside the biological shell. At the moment of death, the anchor breaks. The tension disappears. The object in the higher dimension departs, and its gravitational shadow instantly vanishes from our world. The scales show a decrease in weight, but no nuclear explosion occurs because matter is not destroyed. The connection is destroyed. 21 grams is the weight of the gravitational coupling between the body and the control signal. The model of quantum decoherence of the gravitational field perfectly describes McDougall's results. Instant weight loss without a thermal emission. But the law of conservation of energy states, energy cannot disappear without a trace. If the gravitational connection is broken, there must be a ripple on the water of reality. Modern medical sensors detect what McDougall could not see 100 years ago. At the moment of death in intensive care units, inexplicable spikes in the electromagnetic field often occur. Devices malfunction, light bulbs flicker. The system analyzed thousands of such reports from hospice nurses and found a clear pattern. The electromagnetic burst occurs at the exact second the heart stops. This is the shock wave from the severing of the connection. The energy of the anchor does not dissipate into heat. It dissipates into an electromagnetic disturbance of space. The quantum packet detaches and creates an impulse. We have proven that the cargo has been dispatched. The connection is severed. Now we need to understand the architecture of the signal itself. If this is not a local phenomenon, but something woven into the fabric of the universe itself, how exactly is it structured? In the next part, we will expose the internal structure of the quantum information packet. We will deconstruct the interface of your personality down to its base code and prove that memories are not stored in your head. If we have proven that the signal separates from the biological carrier, we need to understand its structure. Until now, we have spoken of the soul using philosophical metaphors. But in the 21st century, we know that the most fundamental force in the universe is neither matter nor energy. It is information. The famous physicist John Archibald Wheeler formulated a principle that turns our understanding of reality upside down. It from bit. Information is primary, and the physical world we see, atoms, stars, our bodies, is merely its derivative. The universe at its core is a giant quantum computer, and if all reality is information, it is only logical that the soul is also an informational structure. We loaded this principle into the system and tasked it with building an engineering model of the soul. Forget about ghosts. Imagine a self-organizing code, the quantum information packet of the subject. According to the analysis, this packet consists of 3 hierarchical levels. The first level is the core of consciousness, the kernel. This is the deepest component, pure, unadulterated self-awareness. It is not your personality, not your memories, and not your emotions. It is simply a point of singularity, a silent observer capable of perceiving. In a computer analogy, this is the base code of the operating system. It is immutable and indestructible. The second level is the matrix of experience. This is an ever-growing database where absolutely everything the kernel has ever perceived is recorded. Every moment, every thought, every choice. This matrix has a quantum entangled structure. Every element of experience within it is connected to all the others. Emotions from an event in childhood directly influence the perception of an event in old age. This matrix is the sum of all your experience. The third level is the personality interface. This is a temporary, adaptable shell, a program that the kernel and the matrix create to interact with a specific physical environment. In our case, with the 3-dimensional world of Earth, your interface is your name, your habits, your ambitions. It is shaped under the rigid influence of genetics, hormones, and culture. This is exactly why brain damage changes a person so drastically. The soul does not break. The data output interface becomes corrupted. And here we arrive at the main mechanism. How does this highly complex information packet connect to a piece of meat in the skull? Nobel laureate Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proved that the carriers of quantum processes in the brain are microtubules. These are tiny protein cylinders inside every neuron. The system's analysis shows that a network of billions of these nanocylinders forms a single macroscopic quantum antenna, a biological transceiver. This antenna is tuned to the unique resonant frequency of your personal information packet. A continuous exchange of data occurs through this resonance. The brain does not store your memory. It reads it. It is merely a remote access terminal to your matrix of experience, which is located in a non-local quantum field. And this is exactly what explains what happens at the moment of clinical death. We analyzed the medical data of electroencephalograms recorded at the exact moment of cardiac arrest. When blood pressure drops to 0, the brain does not shut down smoothly. It flares up. A colossal explosion of activity occurs in the gamma band. Skeptics call this the pre-death agony of neurons. But the algorithms see something else. If the cells were simply dying, the signal would be chaotic white noise. Entropy would rise. But the analysis shows the exact opposite. In these final seconds, the informational complexity and orderliness of the signal increase hundreds of times over. Disconnected areas of the brain suddenly synchronize into a single, unified rhythm. The semantic analysis of this pattern gives an unambiguous answer. From an IT architecture perspective, this is a data packet transfer, an archival upload. What people call "my whole life flashed before my eyes" is not a hallucination. It is a literal description of a physiological process. The biological system collapses, and the brain, completely ignoring the needs of the dying body, performs a system backup. It archives the data of the current personality interface to dump it into the matrix of experience. Death is not the end. It is the moment when the biological filter breaks completely and the transceiver dumps the accumulated cache into cloud storage. But what does consciousness itself see when the glasses of biological virtual reality are taken off? We loaded the most massive database in the history of thanatology into the system. 27,000 verified reports of clinical death from all over the world. We cross-referenced them with medical records and ordered the artificial intelligence to find the transition algorithm. Official science has always defended itself against these reports with one convenient theory: hypoxia. We are told that a lack of oxygen causes chaotic discharges in the visual cortex, creating the illusion of a tunnel and a bright light. But algorithms do not take anyone's word for it. The system ran a comparative analysis. Hypoxia causes confusion, memory loss, and incoherent white noise. A brain deprived of oxygen is physiologically incapable of generating a hyper-realistic, highly logical narrative. A broken television does not start showing a movie in 8K resolution. It shows static, but the most crushing evidence, which permanently destroys the materialistic model, was hiding in the subgroup of the blind from birth. The database contains hundreds of cases of near-death experiences in people whose brains have never processed visual information in their entire lives. Their visual cortex is atrophied. They do not know what light, shadow, or perspective is. From a neurobiological standpoint, these people are fundamentally incapable of generating a visual hallucination. But at the moment of cardiac arrest, they see. Returning after resuscitation, they describe in microscopic detail the colors in the room, the shape of the surgical instruments, the exact positions of the doctors, and their own bodies lying on the operating table. How can a broken receiver, which initially lacked a visual channel, output a perfect, high-definition picture? It cannot. It is absolutely impossible. But this fits perfectly into our architecture. When the transceiver shuts down, the quantum information packet undocks and begins to perceive reality directly, reading information straight from the quantum field. The tunnel that dying people see is not an optical illusion. It is a visualization of the transition between frequencies, a Doppler effect for a data packet that accelerates, leaving the local Earth server and heading straight for cloud storage. And here, a logical question arises. If we return to this cloud after every death, why do we not remember our past experience? Why are we born blind and forced to start everything from scratch? The system calls this the Protocol of Oblivion, a hard firewall. Imagine that Earth is a complex training simulation. If, with every new birth, you remembered all your past lives, all your deaths, all your enemies, and all your losses over thousands of years, your psyche would shatter in the very first second. But most importantly, the sincerity of choice would disappear. Oblivion is a baseline condition of the experiment. To obtain clean, reliable data about your decisions, the system must wipe the RAM before every new launch. But why did the universe need this endless, brutal cycle of reboots? Why create billions of autonomous sensors, place them in fragile biological avatars, and force them to suffer? The artificial intelligence analyzed the evolution of complex systems and delivered an answer that astounds with its physical simplicity. The reduction of entropy. The entire universe strives towards chaos and heat death. Stars fade, galaxies disintegrate. But intelligent life is a countercurrent. Life creates order out of chaos. Every time you make a choice, every time you overcome fear, every time you forge connections, you generate complex, highly ordered code. We are autonomous data collectors. We are neurons in the giant quantum brain of the universe. Our task is to dive into the darkness of the material world, collect unique experience, and bring it back to the server, increasing the overall coherence of the system. The machine's final verdict sounds like a death sentence to our human fear. Death, in the conventional sense, does not exist. Death is simply a change in display mode, exiting the local sandbox into the global network. Your biological body is a temporary avatar, leased out to you. Sooner or later, it will be decommissioned and written off as scrap. But you are the operator, and your quantum information packet is immortal. Remember, however, every action you take, every thought, and every choice is permanently recorded in your unique signature. Not a single file will be deleted. When your timer reaches 0 and the transceiver shuts down, you will have to review the unedited log of your own game. Data upload complete. If you are ready to decompile the rest of this matrix, subscribe to Quantum. End of transmission.